Hi, we are students from Mrs. Josefczak's AP Government and Politics class, and we are here to talk to you about the upcoming primary election.
On February 13th, the Social Studies and 12th grade English classes will be participating in the NJ mock primary election run through NJ SSSA. To prepare for this, we will be talking to you today about how to register to vote for the upcoming primary, the primary process, important issues being voted upon, and the candidates for the 2020 presidential election.
In 38 states, you can register to vote online, but in New Jersey, the registration form still has to be physically sent in. This is in the process of being changed, but for now, we're going to go over how to register in person.
When you get your license at the age of 17, you will be asked if you want to register to vote. The process takes no more than 10 seconds, which is a reason in itself to step up and be a participating citizen. The screen in front of you will ask if you'd like to register to vote and which party you affiliate yourself with. This is probably the easiest way to register, so you might as well do it then. If you decide not to register when you get your probationary license, there is always a paper registration form that looks like this.
You can register to vote at almost all motor vehicle agencies, public libraries, or municipal buildings, or access this form by Google searching Register to Vote in NJ and clicking Sussex County.
When registering to vote, you need either your driver's license and/or a proof of address. We encourage you to register as soon as you get your license to make the process easier and to ensure that you'll be able to vote when you turn 18.
The purpose of a primary is to select the main candidate that will run for president from each major political party. According to the Constitution, state governments are responsible for setting up how elections are run within their state. New Jersey holds a semi-closed primary election, which means that if you declared a political party on your voter registration form, you must vote in that primary for those candidates. If you were undeclared or registered as an independent voter, you can select a party at the polls on the day of the primary and then participate in the party's primary election. If you're a Republican, you can only vote for a Republican candidate. The same applies for Democrats.
For our New Jersey mock election, you will be asked to declare a political party so that you can choose between those candidates and get a better understanding of exactly how the semi-closed primary works. This is just an exercise, so the parties you choose are not permanent.
Now we will take a moment to introduce you to each candidate and explain their platform. This is important to do before you vote in any election so that you have a better understanding of who and what you're actually voting for. If you check off Democrat on your registration form, you will have 6 options to choose from.
One of the options is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a progressive and a democratic socialist. This does not mean that he wants to convert our economy to a socialist one, but rather make practical reforms to our capitalist economy that ensure that our country is not dominated by large corporations. To him, a social democracy simply means human rights and economic rights. He is known for his support of economic equality and his fight to shrink the wealth gap. He supports universal health care, the Green New Deal, and policies that work against climate change, labor rights, tuition-free college education, a tax on the top 0.1% of the nation, and gun safety. He's been fighting for racial, gender, LGBT, and disability rights and equality for decades.
Another option is Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is a left-wing environmentalist. She is a lawyer and a current senator from Massachusetts. She supports federal funds for affordable housing, eliminating big money in political campaigns, and rebuilding the middle class. This plan includes a wealth tax which taxes 2% to anyone that makes over $50 million. In other words, having a large middle ground instead of having a lot of really poor people and a lot of wealthy people. She also says she wants to strengthen democracy, implement the Green New Deal, and achieve 100% clean energy for America.
Next is Michael Bloomberg, who is a moderate Democrat with a history of working with both sides. He served as mayor of New York from 2002 to 2013. He supports using federal funds to invest in the rural American workforce and raising the minimum wage. He opposes universal health care, believing it can't be funded, and additionally believes Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax is unconstitutional. He does support graduated income tax. His platform mainly focuses on gun control with a ban on assault weapons and increased background checks, as well as supporting charter schools and trying to link prescription drug prices to the lower prices offered overseas. Though he's a strong bipartisan candidate, he started his run very late, and some argue that due to his wealth, it disconnects him from the main Democratic voting bloc.
Next, there's Joe Biden, the former vice president during the Obama era and a senator from Delaware who is also a moderate. Biden supports expanding access to current welfare under Medicaid and increased taxes on the wealthy in order to better represent the middle class economically. Socially, Biden is liberal through the support of the LGBT rights and the women's right to choose. Joe Biden's long-standing involvement in various political roles gives him a diverse perspective on these issues. His experience in office might just give him a leg up in the election.
Pete Buttigieg is a member of the Democratic Party. He is a former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He is new to the Democratic candidates. His top themes are environmentalism, big government, and globalism. He supports stricter gun laws, a female's right to abortion, raising taxes on the wealthy, raising the federal minimum wage, and legalization of marijuana. The main points in his election are abolishing the Electoral College, supporting a public health insurance option, and protecting the environment by addressing climate change.
Amy Klobuchar is a more left-leaning Democrat and is the first female senator from Minnesota. She supports Warren's wealth tax but does not think Medicare for all is possible. She does, however, support expanding coverage of health care. Some of the main parts of her platform are ending the death penalty, only allowing paper ballots to protect voting privacy, supporting nuclear power, and providing more protection for online privacy. She's also pushing to completely remove the Electoral College. Though she may have views that are popular among the lower class and Democratic voting bloc, her main opponents believe funding for those programs is not realistic.
Now we will discuss the candidates for the Republican Party.
Donald Trump, being the current president of the United States, is seeking re-election as the major candidate on the Republican ticket. As president, he is focused on trying to reduce illegal immigration and reform the legal immigration system. He has endeavored to lower individual and corporate taxes, cut regulations, and end trade deficits. He wants to undo Obamacare, cut drug prices, and reform the Medicaid program. His approach to foreign affairs follows his America First worldview, which says the country should prioritize its economic interests abroad instead of playing a leadership role in global affairs that don't directly benefit the United States. On social issues, Trump is pro-life, wants to limit access to abortions, and ban transgender troops in the military. In regards to energy and climate change, he wants to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement and boost fossil fuel development.
Lastly is Bill Weld. Bill Weld, the former governor of Massachusetts, though on the Republican ballot, tends to lead more liberal on social issues and conservative on economic and tax policies. His economic policy includes less government spending and tax cuts. He supports the non-nuclear proliferation efforts, which is an objection to the spread of nuclear weapons, and wants closer ties with Canada and Mexico. He opposes Trump's deportation policies and supports a legal working status for undocumented immigrants in the country. On social issues, such as firearms, Weld believes that the Second Amendment is a fundamental right, but supports restrictions and regulations such as the assault weapons ban. He supports an increase in Medicaid access, supports LGBT rights, and is pro-choice.
Along with selecting a candidate for your chosen party, the following issues will appear on the ballot to gauge your opinion on them. During election years, issues will often appear on the ballot as a referendum. If enough citizens vote to approve it, it can become law even if the state government does not have it on their agenda. On our mock primary, there will be 2 issues up for referendum.
The first issue is whether or not we should eliminate the time change in the fall, making daylight savings time all year round. If this change is implemented, New Jersey will have a later sunrise and sunset. Daylight savings time was proposed to save money on energy needs. Besides this, it coincides daylight hours with people's schedules, improves road safety in dawn and dusk hours, and results in statistical decrease in robberies. However, there are a few disadvantages. Research indicates that there can be a decrease in productivity. It can disrupt the body's circadian rhythm and may cause health issues like depression and high risk of cardiovascular disease. Also, it is costly to maintain. Opponents claim it will not save enough energy in modern society.
The other issue on the ballot this year is whether or not schools should begin their day later, after 8:30 a.m. The argument in favor of later school time revolves largely around the idea that schools should maximize students' potential, and it's hard to maximize potential when a student is tired the whole day. Starting later would give students extra time to sleep. However, there are still some downsides that need to be considered. For example, students involved in extracurriculars may not get home until much later than usual and may stay up late doing homework. As a result, many students will likely stay up later and end up getting the same amount of sleep that they would have if the day started earlier. Be sure to consider these pros and cons before deciding which way you will vote.
We know we've thrown a lot at you in the past 10 minutes, so we made a chart that summarizes each candidate, their stances, and the issues we've discussed. On the document, we also attached a link to the website I Side With. On this website, it's going to ask you your stance on many issues, and then we'll tell you which candidate you most agree with.
We would like to thank Dr. Rossi, our administration, and Mr. Kircher for bringing us this opportunity to practice our civic responsibilities. It is a privilege and an honor we have as citizens, so remember to go out and vote, and if you find these issues interesting, consider taking AP Gov with Mrs. J. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.